Druids in Mythic Plus. So Resto Druids in raiding is still one of the best go-to specs out there. In dungeons, it's still pretty challenging just due to kind of the bursty nature and real major focus the healer needs to have on standing up tanks. If you're looking for probably the most popular easy build, this is what you'll see throughout most of the game in 8.3 right now. Scenario and Ward is the go-to. Tier 2, you basically got any option there. I prefer Wild Charge personally. Feral Affinity is the go-to if you like to do a little bit of cat weaving. Otherwise, go with a Guardian Affinity or Balance. But I primarily stick between Feral and Guardian. Tier 4, I like Typhoon, but any of those real utility specs will work. Now into the final three tiers, and this is kind of the easy part. We go with Cultivation, which is really just a boost to Rejuvenation. Tier 6, we're going with Spring Blossoms, and Tier 7, Photosynthesis. So you'll notice all three of these top-end talents are all pretty passive, so that's really it. There's no additional global cooldowns or anything like that you need to worry about. This build really focuses on the benefits that come from photosynthesis and really kind of complementing when you cast Life Bloom on an ally. It's really good if you're trying to really keep the tank topped up and also trying to be pretty efficient with the other spells that you're casting. Really just trying to maximize any additional damage time. So whether you're going with that Feral or Balance ability, this will complement you pretty good. If you go with the Feral Affinity, it's going to actually allow you to do some pretty solid damage while you're in cat form. And that's kind of the benefit, is that you're able to swap in between both builds pretty quick. It's not essentially perfect. It's not your top end healing build, and we'll take a look at what that looks like right now. But it's pretty solid overall in terms of the other build. Now that other build that I'm talking about is actually Germination. So in Tier 1, we get away from Scenario and Ward, we go to Abundance. So all good there. Tier 2, again, it's pretty wide open. I prefer the mobility, so I hang around in Wild Charge, but you could go with Tiger Dash or Renewal additionally. Tier 3 still wide open. If you want to work in cat weaving, go with that. If not, as you're pushing higher keys, Guardian Affinity is the way to go. Tier 4, any of the utilities are good there. Bash, Entanglement, or Typhoon. You really just want to know what's the appropriate dungeon and what kind of mechanics are you going to have to worry about. Now, this is where the build starts to change a little bit from the photosynthesis build. With this build, basically it's kind of maximizing the healing throughput you're going to go with. You're actually going to go in Tier 5 with Incarnation, Tree of Life. In Tier 6, Inner Peace, and Tier 7, Germination. So when you go with this build, it really is just trying to maximize your heals over time. It allows you to stack them on allies and really maximize the benefit you get from mastery. So when you do pull the trigger on Abundance in that first tier, it just increases the regrowth, which materially helps. And the Tree of Life gives you that added cooldown, so kind of a win-win there. Overall, from a complementary standpoint, essences, you want to go to the replica of knowledge for your major. That is by far the best you can roll with right now. It came out with 8.3. Next minor, go with the conflict and strife or strife essence. Following that, you want to go with the ever rising tide. So that really gives your heals a chance to buff your intellect. And finally, that third is Spirit of Preservation, or Crucible of Flame, depending on where you're at, and if you're looking for that little bit of additional boost for healing or a little bit of additional DPS. As far as Azurite traits go, Grove Tending is still the top go-to, and it's really just how it complements the Mastery and Harmony exercise. After that, Trade Winds, Incite the Pack, and High Noon all give you a pretty solid boost to your damage throughput. So they're kind of the tops if you're looking for your Mythic Plus dungeons. Outside of that, folks, Resto is still a lot of fun. This utility that comes with it, I enjoy quite a bit. Kind of ravels the holy pals out there in terms of all the different buttons you get to click, but having a soothe is pretty fantastic, as well as some roots. So really enjoyable. Let me know. Let me know what you think of this build, or give me any other feedback on the guide. I will talk to you all soon, and thanks for checking it out. See ya.